Good morning. I'm not a public speaker by any means. I'm a classroom teacher. I can teach in front of students all day long, but my peers is kind of like, oh my goodness, my word. But that's beside the point. Wrote the grant because, of course, our school district is lacking in funding, so anything and everything requires money. So my research question was, how might I improve engagement of my students in a fun way? And I thought, robotics, hey. Who doesn't like robotics? That's fun. It's going to be something new for me as well as my students. I teach 5th and 6th grade, so sometimes they're like, math? Really? Really? Math? Especially at 8 o'clock in the morning. Some of the things that happened in my grant is my classroom actually changed. Used to, it was desk in a row. Now it's groups of desks, students engaged. Students working out of the textbooks. Now they're working on finding solutions. They've got a problem at hand. They actually have to find out how to solve a specific problem. I can't talk. Used to, it was teacher-led. Now it's student-led, and I'm just the facilitator. Everything with my Legos is student involved. They have to do the work. All I'm doing is sitting there, hey, what do you need? What do you need? And walk around. I'm very nervous. Students as individual learners, now they're working cooperatively with tasks at hand. They used to dread math, now they're excited about it. They like to come to my class. Well, most days anyway. My goal is to motivate, to engage, to provide my students with a real-world application of my math core. Actually, to actively get them involved with kinesthetic tactile experiences by designing, building, testing, and programming robots using the Ev3 Legos Mindstorms. My challenge, working with First Lego League, we did, this is a second year for my grant. Last year was Trash Trek. This year is Animal Allies. What this year's project, they actually had to do research on how animals and humans interact with each other. How are they helping each other in the real world? Handicapped animals, feeding animals, they're providing our food. Our core values is to work as a team, work cooperatively. We know our coaches and mentors don't have all the answers. We know that we have to work together, learn together. Cooperatively, basically work together. Some of my students are ADHD kids. Some of my students are ADD kids. They're the ones that sometimes they have a hard time sitting still. Sometimes they have a really hard time working with others. And my actual team did a really good job. So here is what you actually get the package. It's what we bought. You get a box. You get a box of instructions. And we have to read the manual. So here's what all the stuff inside looks like. Bunch of cables, bunch of stuff that you have to put together. Here's the robot, the Legos. My students actually had to design the logo for the team. They came up with this funky little critter, a little robot with Indian feathers because we are the Redskins. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Teamwork, this showing two of my students. Both of these students are 7th graders, actually. In my team, we do it after school as well. They built the Ev3 robot. It's all made up of Legos. If you notice on the floor, they have their programming. So what they have to do is they have to actually come up with the program to actually get the robot to do whatever it wants them to do. Here, they actually had the robot run. It didn't work, so they have to actually come up with a way to change the program to make it do what they want them to do. Here's a test run. I don't know if I can get it working. Probably not, since it doesn't look like it's... This is one of their test runs. And it's not. Hey, it might. Who knows? It's not going to allow me to do it. This is a video, actually, of my student. This is one of his test runs. This kid is, let's say, high energy, behavior kind of is at times. Definitely a challenge in the classroom. And you can notice by his stance, he's kind of like, okay, is it going to work or not? And it actually did what he wanted it to do. It actually went forward, it went to the left, it went back, and then it went back to home. So it made a rectangle, so the whole challenge there. Woohoo! But that was at the beginning of it. Here is a 5th grader and a 7th grader. They're putting together one of the bags that comes in the box. There's like 13 different actual bags that they have to build, the different animals, the different things that they have to. And as you can tell, 5th grader and a 7th grader, whew, fun. Here is one of my 6th graders utilizing blueprints. We actually got another grant to do our Chromebooks. So we actually accessed the internet, of course. Got the blueprints. He's building the animal feeder. The animal feeder, the robot has to go over and push a button, and it actually drops out the food pellets. The robot has to pick up the pellets, deliver it to the actual locations, which there's a panda station, there's a gorilla, there's a bat, certain things that they have to feed. Here's one of my 5th graders. He's a delight. He doesn't work well with others, but put him on something like this, he's like, wow, he's really, really fast. Putting together the guide dog with his visually impaired human. It was kind of neat. He's like, hey, how's this going to work? I'm like, well, we're going to see. And it's pretty neat. And here was his actual task that he built. You can tell his little dog there, German Shepherd, he named it, of course. The blind man, if the robot moves over the yellow, it actually pushes the guy back out of the road. So it's pretty neat. Here's the completed competition table. If you'll notice, there's different activities. We've got a gorilla. There's a bat hanging over here. The round thing at the very center is the cows. You have to actually milking station. There's a panda in the back and so forth. This white thing in the middle is their feeding. The bar that you push, this gray bar, you push it, it drops out pellets. They're color-coded, so therefore each code goes to the specific, I can't say the word, animal that it needs to feed. This was part of our research. We had to research different elements, and we had a biologist, Tristan Curry. He works at our national park. He came and actually was talking about bears. This is the skull of a bear. We talked about the length of the teeth, talked about the food. One of the problems that we actually took on was we redesigned the garbage receptacle. The receptacle at their park, the bears were constantly getting into it. A couple of years ago, they had a competition where they designed it. Now the ones they've got, you push the bear, puts his hand in, he pushes a button, and he can still get in the garbage can. So we actually took that, actually designed a garbage can. Pretty neat. Something else we did was the bee population. Bee population is going down considerably. We actually got online, the kids did the research, and we talked about how we can actually promote by planting wildflowers and help the bee population. We actually did some dairy research about the milking machine and how it can be improved, how the animals' lives can be actually helped with our benefit. We do all kinds of team building tasks to get the kids to work together. This was one of those that we actually had the kids working on what specific thing, and they had to work together. We have an after-school Lego club. These guys are 2nd graders. So we actually went from my classroom, 5th and 6th grade, to after school. And here, I gave them a challenge. They had to create a camera. So here are little 2nd graders. He's like, yeah, I'm getting filmed here. It's pretty cool. After school Lego, of course. He's building his camera. He's like, hey, I'm going to take your picture. I'm like, okay. These are other robots. I know it's time. Our other robots are Dash and Dots. Besides the Ev3, Ev3s work with the first. And these are really cool because they actually move. The kids talk to them, they're like moving around. They'll actually do different tasks in the classroom. I'm almost finished. The cost, I wrote the grant for $939, and this is some of the things that we purchased. Other unknown costs, competition, local $50, practice tables $50, construction, of course we had a volunteer did that. My suggestion, if you're going to have a team, make sure you get with a coach that's familiar with actually getting online and actually completing the process. And to order the kits as soon as possible. And happy smiling kids, I assume, is a success. We've got 5th graders, 6th graders, 7th graders. And next year we'll probably have 8th graders because my 7th graders are moving up. And thank you.